We're back, and it's time for more roller derby. I was and remain Clofton P. Grudge, and you're here at Arizona's only bank track roller derby at the Hall of Dames.
I'm Kills Bill. What a great bout we saw. Now ready for part two featuring the Bombshells and the Scrappers. Just a reminder, no whistling is allowed as it interrupts the game. Keep your arms, legs, hands, feet, everything else outside of the track and behind that yellow line. Keep your arms and legs outside of this thrill ride for your safety. With that being said, let's get this bout started.
Taking the track from the far bench, decked out in red, it's the Bombshells. They don't have a captain listed, so apparently it's just a democracy.
Right? Oh, it's Skid.
Oh, it's
Goddamn communists. Do they have a co? Isn't it Skid?
I don't know. Give 'em hell, Bombshells. Skating tonight for the Bombshells, number 600, High Voltage. Number 44, Magnum, Dirty Carry. Number 182, Hannibal Lecture. Number 1897, Impaler Swift. Number 24K, Gold Digger. Number 3, Enema Burns. Number 6, Tornado Alley. Number 55, Skid Vicious. Number 616, Antifa. Number 626, NC Jammer. That is not a typo. NC borrowed a jersey from Remy. Number 835, Scarin Yeager. And number 96, All of You Die. Your bench coaches tonight for the Bombshells are Shownuff and Infidel Castro.
All right, roller derby fans, taking the track wearing blue, that's your Schoolyard Scrappers. All right, number 1212, 1212, that's Bonnie Banshee. OMG, you're killing me, Smalls. Number 18, Embezzlement. Number 300, that's Dolly Spartan. 34, Pretty Hurt Machine. 440, Morning Madness. Number 487, Tequila. Number 669, Nikki Badass. Number 68, Juicy Kill Tour. 90210, Beverly Kills. Number 9, MK3, Gypsy Danger. And number 172, the captain of your Schoolyard Scrappers, Pikachu. Helping the team out on the bench tonight is Call Me Maybe and co-captain Bob Villett. No, it's not. Last minute change.
I can see who that is over the guardrail. It's okay. I've made jokes like that with him before. We're cool, I swear. Don't tell him I said that. All right, just about ready to get underway with the first whistle. Hey, fans, let's hear a cheer from anybody who's pulling the double header tonight. Who was here for the first half as well, yeah? There are a few hearty souls. That's nice. All right, we are ready to get underway. Your first jammer for the Bombshells is Skid Vicious.
And that's Dolly Spartan taking the line for the Scrappers. Dolly heading to the low side while Skid's trying the high side by the rail. Skid's able to get out as your lead jammer, though. Dolly Spartan escapes the pack, gets out just a few feet behind Skid Vicious, and Skid decides to call it off. Let's do this again some other time.
That's both jammers there, Skid Vicious and Dolly Spartan, longtime skaters in the league, and there was a great laugh from Skid as she flew by us in the announcer's nest, and then the two of them sharing some laughs on the way back to the bench. No score for either side. Second jam is going to feature Dirty Carrie for the Bombshells.
That's Bonnie Banshee out there for the Scrappers. Carrie sees some daylight on the high side, gets out as your lead jammer. Bonnie Banshee tied up behind a couple of Bombshells at the front of the pack.
Bonbon had to get way back. That blocker held up, and Bonbon had to reestablish at the very back of the pack. Now there goes Dirty Carrie. Bonbon stays upright. Woo! That was close. Bonbon stays upright. Is going to try to keep this to one more scoring attempt for Dirty Carrie. And Dirty Carrie comes sliding in and calls it off. So, second jam will have our first points. That's going to be 6 points for the Bombshells there. 1.2 scoring passes to be exact. So Bombshells on the board, 6-0 Estfar. And the Bombshells jammer, who I can see now, is High Voltage.
High Voltage out there going against Pikachu out there for the Scrappers. Both jammers working their way through the pack. High Voltage trying to get by Beverly Kills, and then Nikki Badass tied up behind Killin' May Smalls. Scrapper jammer still not out. And as I say that, Pikachu escapes as your lead jammer. Volti gets tied up on the rail by Nikki Badass. Now getting back on the track. Volti tied up behind Beverly Kills and Dolly Spartan. As Pikachu trying to work their way through the pack, making points all the way. Pikachu takes a knee at the bottom of the track, gets back up. Looks like the Scrappers were able to pick up five points on that jam.
There we go. I heard a something 100 arms, and I had to wait. Apparently it was 300 Dolly Spartan and not 600 High Voltage, so no power jam. Hannibal Lecture to the jammer line for the
Pretty
Bombshells.
Hurt Machine coming to the jammer line now.
I got to give Hanny more time to wave at her fans before the start whistle. Hurt quickly out of the pack, fast-moving pack into the back straightaway. And I just saw somebody get, oh, wow, yeah, two Bombshells just got hit real hard in the backstretch there. So here comes Hurt now trying to weave through the pack and gets blocked off to the infield by Dirty Carrie. And there goes Hanny out the front of the pack. So Hannibal Lecture going to try to keep this to one scoring pass for Hurt. Hurt off to the infield, and Hurt calls it off. Impaler Swift took a tumble there onto the concrete, and as anybody who's been on this track or the stage will tell you, it really hurts when you land on concrete and not the track or stage surface. It is 9-6. The Schoolyard Scrappers are in front, and now we do, in fact, have our first power jam of the bout. It's going to be a power jam for the Schoolyard Scrappers here in the early going. No, it's not. Here comes Hannibal Lecture again to jam. No, we're going to have an official timeout. All right, yeah. I saw a lot of people with their hands out and trying to figure out what was going on, which usually means the regulators are going to put a stop to things before it spirals out of control and people are flying off the merry-go-round. So
regulators taking away the punch bowl right as the party's getting started.
All right. 8:04 to go here in the first quarter. It's the early going. It's 9-6 Schoolyard Scrappers. Don't forget, friends, Tucci's Touch Massage is here in the building this evening. If you weren't here for the first bout, you may not know that. Tucci is here and giving away free 10-minute chair massages. It's just a little taste of what a full session might be like, and as a happy, satisfied customer, I do say check it out.
Clifton, looks like you were right. We do have a power jam. That's Dolly Spartan out there on the line, going to skate this power jam for the Scrappers. 9-6, and Dolly Spartan's going to look to put some more points on the board. Tries the high side, gets out as your jammer.
Dolly gets out pretty expeditiously as power jams go. You saw right at the whistle, those defenders for the Scrappers tried to close the inside off, and now they again try to spring into action. Collision there at the front of the pack. That's Skid Vicious wearing the pivot stripe for the Bombshells and escorted Dolly all the way down to the infield. Now Skaren Yeager was the last line of defense, but is out of play. Yeager now is going to hold on and try to wait for the pack to catch up. We got 21 seconds left on the power jam clock. Dolly Spartan taken up to the rail. And Yeager able to get in there and block. Just kind of got a knee in front of Dolly, and Dolly gets dumped to the infield this time. Momentum taking her well down to the infield. Bombshells do a very, very good job of bleeding a lot of time off the clock on that last scoring pass. $10 points on the power jam, though, for Dolly Spartan. 2 full scoring passes, and the Schoolyard Scrappers jump in front.
Tornado Alley coming to the jammer line for the Bombshells for the first time tonight. Hey, and that's Juicy Kill Tour out there as well.
Well, this should be interesting for reasons. There's Juicy to the front of the pack first, and Juicy gets around that last blocker and is out and clear. 1 point towards the Juicy side. Well, not a point for the Scrappers. Again, for reasons. Now Alley trying to fight through at the front of the pack and gets spun around by Pretty Hurt Machine. And those blockers out of play for a second, it looked like, and they gave Alley the wave on. So this will be 1 scoring attempt for Juicy, who gets pinned in at the back of the pack and calls it off. Juicy gets all 4 of the points in that scoring pass, though, so 23-6, Scrappers in front. Jamming for the Schoolyard Scrappers is Nikki Badass.
That's Skaren Yeager out there for the Bombshells. Who's got a better name there on this? And Nikki Badass gets out of the pack, tries that low line and gets right out. Skaren Yeager following behind, gets by Dolly Spartan. Dolly might have been pushed out of play. Nikki scoring points as Skaren Yeager comes up on the back of the pack. Calls off the jam right before Skaren Yeager able to score any.
4 more for the Scrappers on the board. We approach 5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Skid Vicious for the Bombshells.
That's a Pretty Hurt Machine out there. Hurt taking the line for the Scrappers right now, 27-6. Hurt ties that low side, pushes by Thigh Voltage, gets out as your lead jammer.
Skid still getting escorted off to the infield. That wall of Schoolyard Scrappers blockers like an accordion, sliding up and down and keeping Skid frustrated as that's a first scoring pass completed for Pretty Hurt Machine. Skid's able to get out of the pack there to try to keep the damage limited here, and Hurt calls it off mid-scoring pass. We'll check and see how many she got in front of there.
And look, that's Beverly Kills taking the jammer line for the first time tonight for the Scrappers.
Jammer for the Bombshells is going to be Dirty Carry. Wound up being 7 points for the Scrappers there in that previous jam. Underway we go. Dirty Carry is trying to keep Kills behind her.
Kills stays on the track, gets by Skaren Yeager, heading up to the front of the pack. And gets out as your lead jammer, Beverly Kills. Dirty Carry tied up, taken off the track by Kill and May Smalls. Pack still holding up in turn 1. Kills scoring points all the way. trying to get by the rail by Scarenjaeger. Scarenjaeger gets some help by Impaler Swift now. Kills fighting that 2-wall at the front of the pack. As Dirty Carry gets out, though, and Kills calls it off.
Kills got all 4 of those points on the scoring pass, though. 38-6, Scrappers in front, and Scrappers once again with a power jam. It's Bonnie Banshee. True factoid, it's not 12-12, it's 1-2-1-2. Ask Bonnie sometime. It stems from a story about how her grandmother gave a guy the phone number to the police station, and the guy was too stupid to understand that's what it was. It's an adorable story. Meanwhile, and as long as it took me to wrap up that story, Bonnie Banshee is out and clear. Bonbon now coming around, slow pack. Looks like those Bombshells defenders are just trying to hold up in the back there, and they do get Bonbon knocked off to the infield. And now Bonbon finishing off the scoring pass. I like those standoffs when it's like nobody wants to make the first move, and there's 3 seconds when nobody flinches, and then everybody goes at once. 23 seconds left on the power jam. Bonbon now trying to weave through. Wiggles pass. Wow, fancy footwork. Managed to get around Skid. Now the bench cheers Bonbon on.
Teammates telling her, you got plenty more time. Get some.
And with a little help from her friends, Bonbon finishes off another scoring pass on the power jam. There it is, 15 points on the power jam for Bonnie Banshee. About a minute to go here to the end of the first quarter. Jammer for the Scrappers is going to be Pikachu, your team captain.
A Scarenjaeger coming to the line for the Bombshells. Scarenjaeger, am I right?
Scrappers, meanwhile, have 2 blockers in the penalty box, so it is a big advantage for the Bombshells. Now Jaeger's trying to get a little okey-doke and get around Nikki, and is able to get past.
That was a good pass.
Yeah, got squeezed by on the outside.
It's not easy to get by Nikki Badass, and that was a good one.
Peak is able to get by NC Jammer at the front of the pack, and now here comes Jaeger. Flashes some signals to to their blockers coming through. Looking to get by Nikki again. Jaeger checks on the advancing. Oh, Jaeger gets bumped off to the infield and has to get up, reestablished to call it off. Yeah, Jaeger never took their eyes off of Peak all the way around the track, and we're making sure to call that off in time. So we got 4 points on the board for the Bombshells. Quarter clock's going to expire before this jam starts. It's going to be Tornado Alley for the Bombshells.
It's going to be Juicy Kill Tour back out there for the Scrappers.
Alley up to the outside, and then out the front there, poof.
Alley gets out first this time. And Juicy still stuck behind a pack of Bombshells at the back of the pack.
Now there goes Juicy, while Tornado Alley coming through and trying to finish off a scoring pass. Bonnie Banshee and Gypsy Danger get Alley pinned up on the rail. Alley checks around. Here comes Juicy. And Alley calls it off. On the For Reasons scoreboard, that's 1 lead jam for Juicy, 1 lead jam for Alley.
And points, do we know? It's 4
Well,
each, right?
I believe that's 4 each
I think
so
it's
far,
4
so I
each.
think we're tied. As all things should be. That is the end of the first quarter as we advertised before that jam began. It's 4 more points for the Bombshells, so the Bombshells close out the quarter with a couple of point scoring jams. We've got 4 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the quarter break. 53-14, Scrappers in front early. quarter break of this second bout. Schoolyard Scrappers in front 53-14. So heading up to the jammer line now is going to be Dolly Spartan for the Scrappers.
Hey, here comes Dirty Carey for the Bombshells. Dirty Carey gets out to push the way to the front of the pack. And Dirty Carey gets out as your lead jammer. Dolly Spartan gets Impaler Swift out of the way, though. Dolly Spartan about a quarter track behind Carey. Carey's got to act fast, score some points, call off the jam, and that's exactly what happened.
Saw Carey signaling to call off that jam while Nikki was coming in with the block. So that's sort of the getting rid of the football when you know you're going to get crushed kind of thing. I'm going to call this off now before I get blasted through the infield.
I don't want to die.
All right, up there for the Bombshells, who put 2 more points on the board. That's Thigh Voltage.
Thigh Voltage out there. That's pretty hurt machine out there for the Schoolyard Scrappers.
I like when Volty's jamming and everybody on the AV squad cheers. Up to the outside goes Volty now, and out to the front of the pack and manages to kind of get through on one skate and calls it off because Hurt got out right behind her.
Volty dove down, and as Hurt got out, right in front, and wisely called it off.
So we'll set up for another jam with no points scored by either side, no penalties assessed. It's a full pack. It's going to be Nikki Badass for the Scrappers.
I see Hannibal Lecture out there again. Nikki Badass goes high for the rail. Handy tries to follow him through. Nikki gets out. Hannibal Lecture gets tied up behind Killin May Smalls. Dolly Spartan. Handy gets taken into the rail as Nikki Badass comes up on the back of the pack.
Tumble at the back of the pack. Hanny knocked down. And I saw the referee signal something, and Smalls signaled something, and apparently got denied because Smalls picked up and caught up with the pack. Nikki now communicating with her bench on the way by with 12 seconds to go, and Hanny now out the front of the pack as well. Nikki gets bumped off to the infield, and the clock expires in the interim, freeing Nikki from having to get back up to reestablish to call off the jam. Scrappers put 7 points on the board there in that jam.
All right. Here comes Tornado Alley for the Bombshells.
And you got Bonnie Banshee for the Scrappers.
Both jammers tentatively approach the pack. Accelerating out to the front of the pack, Bonnie Banshee and Tornado Alley both emerge at the same time.
Bonbon puts a shoulder into Alley and bumps her off to the infield. Kind of took her momentum away for a second. Gives Bonbon a little cushion, and now Bonbon's going to try to get past a down skater. Try to pick up that 1 point. I don't see any of it. Yep, 1 point. Always fighting for that point. Every point can make a difference. We've seen already just this season a couple of bouts come down to, one jam either way.
Absolutely.
Up to the jammer line for the Bombshells is Skarin Yeager.
Hey, Pikachu back on the line for the Scrappers. Peak skated in that first bout and back again for her own team.
Saw Peak at the front of the pack there. Beverly Kills dumped out the back of the pack, trying to get back up and catch up. There goes Yeager along the inside. Yeager's your lead jammer for the Bombshells. Peak's able to get through with those last blockers out of play, so Yeager's going to get one crack at this. They're going to try to block Yeager at the back, and Yeager gets past a couple of them and calls it off. We'll check the score from the infield on that one. Three points for the Bombshells in that jam.
Still about 7.5 minutes left in this half. Pretty hurt machine coming to the line for the Scrappers.
You've got Skid Vicious for the Bombshells.
Scrapper skating down a blocker. Nikki Badass picked up a blocking penalty there.
Skid takes a hard fall down there on the infield, but I heard knee pads, and that's what they're for. Now Skid to the outside is going to outrun those blockers way around the outside, taking the long way through the corner.
Hurt gets knocked to the infield by Tornado Alley and ends up having to get back onto the track and reestablish. Took a few minutes.
Skid comes to a stop, tumbles off the track, just, doing that whole egg roll thing down the track. Skid, however, was assessed a jammer penalty. It's going to be another power jam for the Schoolyard Scrappers. It's going to be Dolly Spartan out there once again for the Scrappers. Bombshells do have all 4 blockers, as do the Scrappers, so a full pack otherwise. We're just missing a Bombshells jammer at the moment.
Dirty carry sends Dolly Spartan to the infield. Pikachu knocks Dirty Carry to the infield. Little immediate retribution right then. Dolly Spartan pushed the way to the front of the pack, gets by Hannibal Lecture, and is your jammer. Jammer is out. 35 seconds left on this jam.
This time Dolly high to the outside. Jaeger's going to try to get up there and close the door. Fighting, and then Dolly's able to slide by around the outside. Dolly making gravity her friend there and kind of got up to the top side of Jaeger, and Jaeger sort of slid down the track. Again, wily veteran moves, as we've been saying here in this last bout before the playoffs. 7 seconds left on the Power Jam clock, and Dolly finishes off another scoring pass. All right, we're going to have a timeout before we move on. It's going to be a team timeout. Bombshells. Bombshells going to use a team timeout here. We got 5:12 to go until halftime. Scrappers put 10 points on the board during the Power Jam, 71-23.
Hey, folks, there's some awesome raffle prizes still left at that raffle table. If you haven't bought a ticket yet, go over there, check out the prizes, see if there's something that you like. I know there's the Lost Dutchman Tattoo is the grand prize at the end of the night, so that's worth $1 for a ticket. Or 6 tickets for $5. The 50-50 cash raffle is already over $150 at least. Those are $5 a ticket, or 3 tickets for $10. And then don't forget the food truck is still out front. The best New Mexico, Colorado-style green chili you're going to find in Arizona, served on a variety of dishes. I had the nachos, and they were amazing. Go get you some green chili. Flavors from New Mexico with roots from Colorado and Arizona. Spin flavor featuring Hatch Green Chilies. Book us for your neighborhood, private, or corporate event, and visit Green Chili Love for more details.
All right, we are back, and after the timeout, the Bombshells took that timeout to discuss Power Jam strategy. Dirty Carry at the jammer line. No, that's not Dirty Carl. That's Dirty Carry. Up, trying to push those blockers out of play, and does so. Those blockers at the back of the pack for the Bombshells were able to get the pack separated. However, Schoolyard Scrappers are going to unite at the front. Here comes Gold Digger trying to get in between. It gets dumped for her efforts.
Gold Digger trying to break up that wall of Scrappers and get a jammer through.
And Dirty Carry is able to kind of weave through that wall there. Referees calling to bring the pack together and kind of gave Carey a second to kind of weave through. Now the Bombshell's able to slow down a goat at the back here. Juicy pinned in. Dirty Carry trying to truck through along the rail. Couple of hard blocks and weaves by a blocker and finishes
Dives
off
for
that
the bottom of the
scoring
track
pass.
and gets out. That was awesome. That was great skating by Carey just now.
Look at that, it's 10 big points on the Power Jam for the Bombshells. Bombshells are going to send Tornado Alley to the jammer line.
That's Dolly Spartan back out there for the Scrappers. Slow jammer, slow pack. But Allie turns on the gas and gets out. Dolly Spartan hot on her heels.
So Allie's going to try to put it into drive here. Dolly's really driving from behind, though, and Allie calls it off. It's going to be probably not too much of an advantage by the time Allie got back to the pack. So no points for either side. Be about 3 minutes to go till halftime once this jam begins. You're going to have Pretty Hurt Machine out there for the Scrappers.
And we see Scare and Jaeger coming to the line again.
There we go with the jam.
Scare and Jaeger pushing their way through the middle of the pack. Pretty Hurt Machine gets to the front of the pack, and hey, both jammers are out. Scare and Jaeger gaining on Hurt, and Hurt wisely calls it off.
So again, no points for either side. I feel like Jaeger's had a very, I've called out Jaeger a couple of times for great blocks while pivoting, and then also Jaeger has gotten out a couple times as jammer. Very, very well-rounded first half for Jaeger, I feel like. We got Skid Vicious for the Bombshells.
Yes, Beverly Kills back out there for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Kills working their way to the front of the pack right behind Antifa and Tornado Alley. Kills doing battle with former teammate Antifa. As Skid Vicious slips by and gets out as your lead jammer. Kills gets out now. Half a track behind Skid Vicious. Skid eyeing the pack, trying to see how much points they can make before calling it off. Picks up a couple and calls it off. Might just be one. Let's see what happens there. It is one. Skid picks up a point on that jam. See Hannibal Lecter taking the jammer line for the Bombshells right now.
That's going to be Bonnie Banshee for the Scrappers. There we go. We have two blockers for the Scrappers in the penalty box. Pack is corrected. Bombshells sporting a good advantage this time around. Hanny down to the inside, but gets bumped to the infield. Bon actually kind of rides through on the we're going to have a stoppage in play there.
Hey, you just found out that 50-50 raffles at $160. $165. That 50-50 raffle benefits the Derby Dames, the Minor Assaults, and you.
All right, up to the jammer line, we have Tornado Alley for the Bombshells.
Dolly Spartan out there for the Scrappers. My gosh, brain. Wow.
Just drifting on down. Oh, Alley gets blocked hard to the infield. Gets back up, though, and tries to get around that pivot. Alley now dashes past, manages to get by. I think that was Pikachu trying to get up there and block, and Alley was just gone. So Alley's your lead jammer for the Bombshells. Dolly now takes advantage of attention shifting to the inbound Alley, but is still not able to get free. Some defense on the front end there by Tornado Alley, but by Olive, that was. Not Alley, Alley's the jammer. Dolly's out. Quarter clock has expired, so we are at halftime once this concludes. And it's going to conclude right now. Alley calls it off while being escorted off the track by Beverly Kills. And we close the first half with 3 points for the Bombshells. So we'll step aside. Your halftime break will just be 10 brief minutes. 71-37, Scrappers in front right now. All right, we're ready to go here in the second half, beginning of the third quarter. Teams have switched benches. Jam refs have switched sides. Dirty Carry is your first jammer for the Bombshells, and Dirty Carry is your first lead jammer of the second half for the Bombshells. Bonnie Banshee is now out as well. Kind of got to take that last blocker for a ride to the 20-foot line. Big block down on the back of the straightaway there. I believe that was Jaeger. That was Jaeger. Jaeger with a flex and a roar on the way back to the bench. That was Jaeger delivering that block. Put a little bit of hot sauce on that one. 4 points for the Bombshells. I hear a lot of shouting. There's a blocker coming down. All right, thigh voltage for the Bombshells.
Dolly Spartan coming to the jammer line for the Scrappers.
Volte's going to try to play jammer defense first and then try to take off, but the Scrappers look like they're ready for it. Big collision. I see two skaters down.
Smalls goes down with Volte.
Out the front of the pack, Dolly Spartan is your lead jammer. Looks like everybody's back up. Smalls took a little while to come back around. Volte now to the front of the pack and is going to get out, try to keep this to one scoring pass for Dolly. There's Dolly now fighting through. Nikki puts her hands up just to be safe. And Dolly's going to call it off. So 3 points there for the Scrappers. Scrappers are once again going to send Bonnie Banshee to the jammer line.
Hey, looks like Scaren Jaeger. Scaren Jaeger back out there for the Bombshells. Both jammers come up on the back of the pack there.
So now the action has nobody hit the pause button. If you're watching at home, your stream hasn't frozen. Now everybody kind of breaks. There everybody goes. See, like I said, I love that. Everybody starts running at once. Meanwhile, neither jammer quiet out. Big collision. I heard somebody hit the kick plate. There goes Bonbon. Bonbon is the first one to get out at the front of the pack. Jaeger takes a heck of a block from Gypsy Danger down there. I think that was. No, that was Juicy Kill Tour. Excuse me.
Bonnie Banshee making it look easy coming through the pack right there. Bonnie Banshee burning off a couple seconds off the clock.
Jaeger was able to squeeze out as well. We'll check on that score from the infield. Indeed, Bonbon gets all 5 of those points. Up to the jammer line now for the Scrappers, wearing a much longer jersey this time. That's Nikki Badass.
That's Tornado Alley coming to the line for the Bombshells. Number 6 versus 669.
Everybody kind of bunched together. I see Alley is kind of pinned in behind a triumvirate of blockers for the Scrappers. Meanwhile, racing around the outside goes Nikki. Gets hemmed in by a couple of blockers, and there along the bottom goes Alley. Nikki's out as well. We're allowed to announce that once the bench yells it. Alley checking over her shoulder, looking for her. Flying through on that. Oh, goodness. Look out. Is everybody's checking in? Everybody okay? I think a couple of Scrappers really went for the big block there, and everybody kind of wound up in a heap on the infield. But everybody's up and okay, and it's 2 points for the Bombshells. This is going to be Dirty Carry for the Bombshells.
Carry going up against Pretty Hurt Machine out there for the Scrappers again.
Couple of adjustments in the blocker pack. Scaren Jaeger takes over his pivot. Juicy Kill Tour starts by knocking Jaeger out of the way, and there go both jammers. And there goes the jam.
Smaller pack, both jammers able to get straight out.
And we're going to have a timeout. All right. I was going to say, probably not going to be an official timeout after a 4-second jam. It is a team timeout by the Bombshells, so the Bombshells want to take a moment and talk this one over. 7:34 to go until the end of the third quarter. Scrappers 79, Bombshells 43.
Hey, once again, Derby fans, going to tell you about next weekend. Schoolyard Scrappers are having a bowling tournament. Saturday, March 25th. Registration starts at 10 a.m. Start rolling around 11 or so. Come on down to Let It Roll Bowling. $40 a person. 5-person teams. It's a 10-pin, no tap, 9-pin, no tap. Come on, smash some pins for a great fundraiser. Goal is to make as close to 1 month's rent as possible. Tons of spots for team signups and sponsorship opportunities. Come on down and let's roll.
All right, team timeout draws to a close. With that whistle, we will resume. And it looks like the reason the Bombshells called that quick team timeout is because never mind. See, I started to get all excited and go into my announcer hype thing for a power jam, and then it didn't happen. We've got Skid Vicious for the Bombshells.
That's Dolly Spartan back out there for the Scrappers.
Full pack. Again, after a 4-second jam, that's not a surprise.
People starting to make some moves in there.
And there goes the burst free. And there goes Skid around the outside. Dolly got spun off to the infield and had to go to the very back of the pack. So Skid's out and clear for the Bombshells. Dolly now racing along the inside and found an opening after dispensing with a blocker. Skid trying to stay upright. Nikki kind of knocked her backwards. And Skid calls it off with Dolly closing in from behind. Okay, this time I'm sure, as I hear it coming from the benches, now it's a Bombshells power jam. That's right, Dirty Carrie is out there to do the jammin'. Looks like a full pack otherwise, 4-on-4.
Bombshells trying to make some room, get their jammer out. Scrappers able to wall up at the front of the pack. Bonnie Banshee, Pretty Hurt Machine, Morning Madness out there. Trying to burn off as much of the clock as they can. Antifa charging that wall, trying to make some room.
Front end of the pack there, that was Morning Madness that threw another block onto Dirty Carrie and bled another 5-6 seconds off the clock. So an excellent strategic block there at the front end from the Scrappers defense. Dirty Carrie's going to get one scoring attempt. He's going to try to finish it off. And there it is. With 1 second to go on the clock, Dirty Carrie finishes off that scoring pass. That's 5 points for the Bombshells. This lead is under 30. It is 79-50 Scrappers. The Bombshells have been hacking away at this 4 and 5 points at a time this quarter, and they are really getting back into this game, which is super exciting to see. We've got Dolly Spartan for the Scrappers.
Got Thigh Voltage back out there for the Bombshells. Bombshells are pulling blockers down, accommodate for the people sitting on the bench, sitting in the penalty box.
Okay, there we go. Dolly Spartan approaching the pack quicker than usual.
Thigh Voltage tied up along the high side behind Beverly Kills, Pikachu, and Smalls. They open the door to get their jammer by and close it back up, and Thigh couldn't get through.
There was Dolly laying a little bit of the old head fake on All of You Die at the front of the pack for the Bombshells. Dolly able to shake on through. Volti's going to try to follow right behind and does. So Volti gets out. Excuse me. Yes, Volti. That's right. Sorry.
Yeah, Volti gets out. Yeah, Volti hot on Dolly's heels.
So Volti's really going into drive, trying to stay close to Dolly here and force a call off. And Dolly is going to call it off. So Volti there with the pursuit and forcing the call off.
And again, a little bit of strategy there. Dolly trying to burn off a lot more of the clock as they can.
All right, up to the jammer line for the Scrappers. Who's this number 93? That's Gypsy Danger.
Gypsy Danger going up against Hannibal Lecture out there.
A lot of action, a lot of switching in and out. Hanny's at the front of the pack. We got Gypsy Danger pinned in behind a 3-wall of Bombshells blockers. Now Hanny trying to use the rail for leverage, tries to go low, and is able to get up. There we go. Blocker slid off as well. So Hannibal Lecture is your lead jammer for the Bombshells. Scaring Jaeger with a block at the front of the pack. Out of play now, but Jaeger able to hold up and not slide off the track. That was excellent. Gypsy Danger now out of the pack as well. Hanny finishes off that scoring pass and is going to call it off. So 4 more points for the Bombshells. After the Scrappers had put a few more points on the board themselves. We've now got Tornado Alley for the Bombshells.
Nikki Badass out there for the Scrappers.
And we're going to have a team timeout. The Scrappers are going to call a rather late emerging team timeout. So we'll take a break in the action once again with 2:36 to go here in the third quarter. Scrappers in front by 30 at the moment, 84-54. Fans, don't forget, you've heard us talk about it, but the next bout here for the Derby Dames is Saturday, April 15th. Saturday, April 15th, it is our playoff semifinals, and will feature the Runaway Brides versus the Doomsday Valkyries, and the Brutal Beauties versus the self-same Schoolyard Scrappers. As per usual, that will all get started at 6 p.m. that night. We're going to come back to the action with a power jam for the Schoolyard Scrappers. That's going to be Pretty Hurt Machine for the Scrappers.
Looks like the Bombshells are skating down one blocker. Otherwise, a full pack in front of Hurt. Hurt to a battle with Tornado Alley, trying to get by, pushes them out of play, and Hurt gets out.
Schoolyard Scrappers are controlling the pace of play here in this power jam. Obviously, they discussed strategy during that team timeout. Now Hurt catching up. They've got 2 of the Bombshells pinned in back with Allie out there all by her lonesome. However, those 2 blockers at the back trying to play a little defense. Now Allie trying to at least frustrate and get some more time off the clock. Nine seconds left on the power jam clock, and this time Hurt to the outside and is able to get right through on that scoring pass. And it's a 15-point power jam for Pretty Hurt Machine. That's an emphatic statement by the Schoolyard Scrappers, who took that timeout because they knew it was a very strategically important time to put a big amount of points on the board. We've got Bonnie Banshee at the jammer line for the Schoolyard Scrappers now.
All right, and the Bombshells are sending to the line, Scaring Jaeger.
So everything kind of broke loose at once, and then Bonnie Banshee slid up and put a shoulder into Jaeger. And then Bonbon took a tumble, and Jaeger got through. Jaeger dabbing on them fools coming into the back straightaway. That's just rude. Jaeger's your lead jammer for the Bombshells. Now Bonbon to the outside tries to find an opening and gets through. Skating backwards now and keeping an eye on the goings-on in the pack. Jaeger trying to fight through. There's a blocker taking a big tumble. Bonbon's going to take off now, and Jaeger finishes the scoring pass, calls it off.
All right, Scrapper sending Beverly Kills back to the line now.
It's going to be Skid Vicious for the Bombshells. This will be the last jam of the third quarter. Feels like it's taken us a while to get here, but yeah, this is the last jam of this quarter.
Both jammers approach the pack slowly. Kills trying to get by Olive and Antifa. Skid up at the front of the pack. Skid trying to get by Nikki Badass. Taken to the infield for a second.
Now Skid to the front of the pack and is just going to get that last blocker finally shoved out of play. Got kind of hung up on Nikki there, and they weren't able to get dislodged, but Skid is your lead jammer for the Bombshells.
Kill's still tied up in the backfield.
And Skid trying to get through on a scoring pass is now going to get in, kind of stuck behind a defensive wall of Tequila, Smalls, and Nikki. Solid, strong defensive wall for the Scrappers. And Skid now pushed off the track by Nikki, and Nikki says sorry, didn't mean to dump her like that. And Skid's going to call it off. All right, that is going to take us up to our final quarter break of the evening. Well, is it? Let's see. Let's wait for the official word to make sure we didn't have a challenge or something. There we go. We are officially into the quarter break. See, I didn't want to assume. Correct. All right, back to the action we go. We are going to start off with Juicy Kill Tour on the jammer line for the Schoolyard Scrappers.
I see Scaring Jaeger. Back out there for the Bombshells. Jaeger and Juicy pushing that wall of blockers forward.
It's the exciting sport of roller derby. So fast, people crashing into each other. It's fantastic. There we go. Now we've broken free. And it's Jaeger. Jaeger's your lead jammer for the Bombshells. I feel like I've said that a lot tonight. Juicy now is going to try to actually line up and play some defense here. Jaeger caught up. They get a blocker knocked down, and Jaeger's going to try to fight through on the outside. Now there goes Juicy, taking advantage of all the chaos. Jaeger adjusts the jersey and goes at it again. And there, Jaeger finds an opening, darts through, ensures they got all 4 of those points, and calls it off. All right, so 4 points for the Bombshells there. On the jammer line for the Bombshells is Tornado Alley.
Nikki Badass coming back to the line for the Scrappers. Got a rematch of this matchup. Both teams skating down one blocker, a little bit thinner pack.
Let's see. Oh, somebody took a hard tumble down off to the infield. That was Gold Digger. Took a shot, and there goes
Nikki Badass emerges as your lead jammer. Tornado Alley gets knocked to the track by Pikachu.
Alley now springs to life and is able to get by that last block pretty nicely. That was Pikachu again. Pikachu, oof. Pikachu just dump trucked Gold Digger. Wow, what a block.
That was a hell of a hit.
Yikes. Alley now barreling in, and Nikki's going to call it off after trying to run a few more seconds off the clock. So Nikki gets her 4. Scrappers have breached 100 for the bout, 103-67. And we're going to have an official timeout. So we are going to let the regulators talk that over and figure out what we have to assess. I see a lot of discussion going on with head referee Ref Boyardee down there, so we'll see what they're getting to.
Right, I know, huh? Like 15 people left. Now's your chance to buy a grip of raffle tickets.
About ready to get back to the action. I want to give a shout out to the live stream. That's exactly what you were supposed to do here in the arena, is not cheer, because that was a shout out to the live stream. But I hope you all yelled at home.
Woohoo! Thank you for supporting Roller Derby.
All right, Bonnie Banshee to the jammer line for the Scrappers.
Dirty Carry back out there for the Bombshells.
So Dirty Carry got dropped. I see Hannibal Lecture taken to the track, and Bonnie Banshee is able to get those blockers out of play. So Bon Bon is your lead jammer for the Scrappers. Now the Bombshells are going to form a 4-wall with their jammer at the back. Dirty Carry now takes advantage and races out the front.
Bonnie Banshee knocked to the track. Takes a moment or two to get up. Still the lead jammer, though. Out there chasing the slow wall. And calls off the jam. Burns off a few more seconds.
All right, I heard Volti loudly announcing coming up the track that this is going to be a power jam for the Bombshells. Power offense. Volti's going to turn it over to Dirty Carry, coming right back up there. So now Dirty Carry. is on the power O. Scrappers have Scrappers, both teams have 3 blockers. Dirty Carry's already out of the pack.
Scrappers, the Bombshells opened the door. Carey went right through it.
And there's Dirty Carry dancing along that defensive line. Bombshells are going to try to form a defensive wall. Dirty Carry's coming around, much to the delight of the Bombshells bench. Now lining up again defensively and lying in wait. Scrappers have 2 blockers at the back of the pack who now try to spring forward. And Nikki delivers a block, running Carey off to the infield. So Dirty Carry now gets up, reestablishes, and gets by along the outside. Three seconds left on the Power Jam clock, and here comes Dirty Carry just trying to brute force past a couple of skaters. Managed to get by Nikki down along the inside, and we'll check on that. It's a 13-point Power Jam for the Bombshells. There's 7 minutes left in regulation. It's 106-80 at the moment. At the jammer line for the Bombshells is Hannibal Leck. There's a challenge flag. All right. Well, we'll have to check this out. It's going to be a challenge by the Bombshells. I just wanted to verify. I thought that's the direction the flag came from. All right, so we'll step aside for a team challenge. We will get the nature thereof and the success thereof momentarily. At the moment, after a 13-point Power Jam for the Bombshells, it's 106-80 Scrappers. Hey, do we have any current minor assaults in the house? Yeah? Apparently one. We just wanted to say that if you have a youth between the ages of 10 to 17 who might really enjoy this sport, don't forget that our minor assaults are always looking for new skaters to join their ranks. Minor skating skills and a desire to learn are all that is required. Our coaches. Oh, sorry, it was just, the regulators were signaling that they're calling down the eye in the sky. I thought they were waving at me. I'm like, no, I'm not a regulator. Anyway, our minor assaults are always looking for new skaters to join their ranks all year round. It's not like they hold open tryouts. So if you have a skater that might be interested in joining the recent national champion minor assaults of the Arizona Derby Dames, be sure to ask any skater how to get involved.
Take a moment, Derby fans. Let me tell you about Lost Dutchman Tattoo. They're a tattoo shop specializing in various styles, from realism to traditional. You can customize your own tattoo if you want. Walk-ins are accepted, and the shop is located at 4121 North 19th Avenue. That's the east side of 19th Avenue, just north of Indian School Road. Lost Dutchman Tattoo. They also Lost Dutchman Tattoo is one of the raffle prizes. It's the grand prize. So if you haven't got a raffle ticket and you want to get a fresh tattoo, get yourself a raffle ticket. It's $1 per ticket or $6 tickets for $5. You got to be here to win. So we end up drawing a number of them. So it could be you. You could be a winner. Looks like we've got some kind of a resolution down there. Looks like we had a points challenge, and the points are upheld.
Okay, back to the action we go. Challenge has ended. Bonnie Banshee was heading to the jammer line and said, no, I'm a pivot. That's right. I was confused because there was 3 skaters heading for the jammer line, and I was like, that is not how this game works. That's Hannibal Lecture for the Bombshells.
That's a pretty hurt machine out there for the Scrappers. Hurt charges to the front and gets out as your lead jammer. Hannibal gets tied up high on the high side behind Bonnie Banshee.
And a bunch of skaters down. Hanny gets up, tries to make an effort out of it. And we have a stoppage in play. All right, everybody looks like they're up and okay. Back to the bench under their own power, which is always good to see. And don't forget our medical team is always here and is always ready to spring into action when needed. So, regulator's gonna get ready here. No points for either side there.
All right. Tornado Alley coming to the jammer line for the Bombshells.
It's going to be Nikki Badass for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Alley now tries to find an opening and kind of try to tap dance through, but gets blocked up by that wall of blockers for the Scrappers. Nikki now is going to have the forward advantage. Here comes Alley right behind, and Nikki Badass shakes loose. Here does come Alley. So Nikki's going to work to get back to the pack and find out what she can catch here. And we are going to check. No points for either side, no. Nikki, good defense by the Bombshells, forcing Nikki up into the rail and forcing the call off.
All right, here comes embezzlement to the line for the Scrappers. And as that happens, looks like a power jam.
Embezzlement's first jam tonight for the Scrappers, and it's just a power jam, no big deal. Trying to shake free, M to the outside. Not for lack of attention from the blockers. Those Scrappers are constantly trying to get in there and be like the little mixer ball that you put in with spray paint. M now down to the inside, and oh, big block there. That was NC Jammer, not Remy Ruckus once again. Still not free. And now, oh, are they going to get out of play? No, they stayed in play. 20 seconds left. Now M is able to shake free.
All that work and all that skating finally getting out pays off. Keep pressure, keep pushing. Embezzlement coming around for a scoring pass.
M just kind of runs right up into the wall and tries to dislodge somebody and shake her way through. We'll see what kind of score we got from the infield. Hey, with that late effort, Embezzlement picks up 4 points on the power jam. 4 minutes and, well, it'll be 4 minutes to go once this jam starts in regulation. Scrappers are trying to maintain that lead of 30 points, which they are doing at the moment. We've got Pikachu. No, we have Nikki Badass. Excuse me, Nikki Badass for the Scrappers.
That's Tornado Alley out there on the jammer line for the Bombshells. Nikki pushes out to the front of the pack and gets out as your lead jammer. Tornado Alley tied up behind Killen May Smalls, but is able to get past about a third of the track behind.
Yeah, here comes Nikki on a scoring pass. Gets kind of ping-ponged around and calls it off, heading for the infield. All right, stepping up to the jammer line now. That was 3 points for the Scrappers. That's going to be Dolly Spartan.
Dirty Carey coming to the line for the Bombshells. Carey trying to find home at the back of the pack.
I see Dolly there. Dolly just kind of pushed Dirty Carey off to the infield and just made her own door. Passed on through. Dolly Spartan is your lead jammer.
Carey gets to the front of the pack, tied up behind Pretty Hurt Machine, Juicy Kiltour.
There's a solid 4 wall of blockers for the Bombshells. It just kind of absorbed Pretty Hurt Machine and anyway, slowed her way down, and Hurt's just going to call it off, hemmed in along the inside there. Hurt gets the 4 points and calls it off. And it looks like we are going to roll into, wait for it. That's right. It's going to be a Bombshells Power Jam. And who better to send to the line than one of your best jammers all night long, Scarin Yeager. Even 2 minutes to go in regulation. Yeager's just trying to brute force, gets pushed off. Pretty Hurt Machine just kind of used that last, oh, and Hurt delivers one heck of a block. Wow. That was a technically perfect block by Pretty Hurt Machine. Yeager now up to the front again and is just kind of thread their way through and gets clear. 35 seconds left on the Bombshells Power Jam.
Scarin Yeager got some good speed coming up on the back of the pack now.
Well, Yeager just came through on a scoring pass, and I would say that Pretty Hurt Machine fairly demolished Yeager, and Yeager basically hit the ground and sprung back up and kept going. So that's how you absorb a block. Yeager now up to try to get a few more points on this scoring pass. Kind of weaving and bobbing, and then just goes on through. Those last Scrappers blockers appeared out of play. It's 10 points on the Power Jam for Scarin Yeager.
Yeager sticking with it and kept on skating. Yeager earned all 10 of those points.
So we've got an issue.
Missing a...
Okay, so we're trying to check here, but the Scrappers have yet to... Oh, there we go. I think they're going to get just in time. I was going to say the Scrappers had yet to submit a jammer, so were they gifting a Power Jam?
No.
You're only up 27. That's
Carey
a questionable strategy. There goes Dirty Carey. Lead jammer again for the Bombshells. Just 22 seconds left in regulation, of course. Embezzlement ended up being the late jammer for the Scrappers, and is going to try to get out and keep this to one scoring pass for Dirty Carey. Carey now high to the outside and calls it off. There is time on the regulation clock. We're going to get one more regulation jam in. And that's really good, because getting to jam for the first time this evening is number 487, Tequila.
Coming to the jammer line there for the Bombshells. That's thigh
There's
voltage.
Volty's going to ping pong around and is going to run in behind Dolly Spartan and Beverly Kills on defense.
Volty gets taken to the infield by Dolly Spartan.
There goes Tequila. Tequila's your lead jammer for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Doing Big Pond proud as Tequila coming down to the inside. Volty's going to try to play some jammer defense. Quarter clock has expired. There's 26 seconds left on the jam clock. Volty tried to play a little jammer defense at the back of the pack. Tequila's trying to pick up a few more points on this scoring pass. Gets some help from Nikki now up there trying to help, see if they can get those blockers pushed out of play, but the pack is going to come back together. And Tequila calls it off with 1 second left on the clock. Might as well use that power if you've got it. We will check on the score for that jam and check on the existence or none thereof of a penalty jam. Ends up being 3 points for the Scrappers. And here comes head referee. We got to check on this. There we go. Here comes head referee, Ref Boyardee. checking with everyone and stepping trackside, and this is going to do it. With that whistle, the bout is final.
Hey, make some noise. Come down and congratulate your winners, the Schoolyard Scrappers. Scrappers are going to the playoffs. We'll see them on April 15. I don't think I got her.
And now coming around are the Bombshells. Let's hear it for the Bombshells. Bombshells may have gotten down early, but stayed in it throughout. And we're going to keep it interesting right down to the end. So an excellent effort out of the Bombshells as well. So Derby fans, that's going to do it for the regular season. How about that? It's a full regular season with all of our home teams. We want to give a big thanks to every single skater who has subbed this season to help our teams have full rosters for these